In this video, we're going to discuss how to receive inventory to your 3PL, your warehouse, your prep center using the order tracker. So when you're inside of SoStocked and you go to your order tracker, which is this button up here on the main menu, this is our orders page. The default dashboard is the order tracker, and this is what tracks sort of all of your existing shipments. So let's say that this is a purchase order that we placed, and this is going to our warehouse, this warehouse here, and we should have it arrive and checked in on November 6th. Now the default setting for this is automatic, which is explained a little bit more in the how to create and use purchase orders module. But automatic just means that it will be automatically tracked through our order tracker based on the lead time you assign to that purchase order. Automatic mode is going to track it from production to en route, and then eventually to the final destination, which is third-party fulfillment center or third-party warehouse. So let's go back in here. Let's say this shipment is set to automatically be received at the 3PL on November 6th. For the most part, I don't need to do anything. If it's in automatic mode, just leave it alone. And on November 6th, all 2880 units will be automatically received because it's in automatic mode. The inventory at this 3PL will automatically go up in SoStocked, and the purchase order will automatically close. There's nothing to do. It's automatic. But let's say that there's a couple of circumstances where maybe part of my inventory is received and the rest of it isn't, or it arrives early and I want to close the PO early, something like that. I don't want to wait until November 6th. So what I can do is I can come up here to received, and I can type in a number like, let's say 1,500 units were received today, and then save. And now we can see that 1,500 of our original 2880 have been received and the other 1,380 are outstanding. So if this were all that were really being shipped and this was a mistake, or maybe my supplier somehow messed up and they didn't send the other 1,380, I can actually close this purchase order and I can leave received units as they are, and I'm done with it. Obviously, if those 1,380 are missing, I could have recorded that here. So that's it for automatic mode. You pretty much want to leave it alone and let it run its course through the lead time and let it check in by itself unless a situation like this arises. Now we can go double check that 1,500 actually did get received into the warehouse, and we can do that by going to the vendor that is on the lead time and go up here to our activity logs, and you can see that 1,500 arrived in the warehouse. Now here 1,500 also were deducted from the warehouse, and that's just because our original order had it passing through this warehouse and going on to Amazon. Okay, let's take scenario 2 where this is in manual mode. I'm going to use a different purchase order for this next example because I don't want any history in the receiving status. The most common mistake that most people make when they're using the manual mode is they will come in here and they'll do a partial received inventory. Let's say 50 units were received today, and this time stamped, right? So we'll save that inventory. So now we have 170 left outstanding and of our original 220. The most common mistake that people will make is they'll come in here, they'll put in another number that does not add up to the original 220, therefore double or triple counting. For example, sometimes they might put in the total amount instead of the outstanding amount. If I save that, what will happen is it will actually add additional inventory that doesn't exist into my original 220. Let's go back and change that number to correct it. Now it matches up perfectly. Now let's go into our vendor logs and make sure the inventory checked in correctly. As you can see, we added 220, and now our inventory is exactly 220, and the mistakes have been corrected. So the easiest way to explain this is your running total of how many have been received, and when you click into it, this is a ledger of all of the past received inventory that add up to the total. You can also scroll down and see your activity log right here to make sure that you haven't made any mistakes. The simplest way to receive inventory, again, is to simply close the PO, mark all as received, and save. If you ever run into trouble with this, the best thing to do is to check your vendor logs for that product and search by ASIN. But if you run into trouble, simply send us an email at helpme@sostocked.com or click the help button down here and send us an email.